Hi guys, how are you today? This right here, this little doggy, he is my best friend. His name is Multiplication. Hi, Multiplication. And my name is Division. And Multiplication and I, we are best friends. Now, there's some things that are different about us, obviously, but we also have a lot in common. And I will tell you why. All right, so Multiplication, you can come over here and hang out because I might need you in a minute. Yes, it is true. I am talking to plastic toys. Okay, let's begin. This is our big idea for today. Multiplication and division are BFFs, best friends forever. This is an idea that I want you to keep in your head throughout fractions. And remember, we're almost done with fractions. Just a few more ideas and we're moving on. So as we wind up our fractions unit, please remember multiplication and division are BFFs, right? Right. That's okay. That's not okay that I'm talking to plastic Dalmatian LOL dolls, right? I am in quarantine. I can talk to toys, right? Okay. So what are you talking about, Mrs. Hagan? It sounds like you're losing it. No, not at all. I'm talking about math. So let's go over what I mean by multiplication and division being best friends. Okay. The reason why we're best friends is because multiplication, 3 times 4 equals 12. The reason why that works is because 12 times 4 equals 3. Okay? Switch it around. 4 times 3 equals 12 because 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Either way you go, it still works out. We're very similar, aren't we? Yes, we are. He agrees. Okay, next. Even if we go the other way, we start with division. It still works. 20 divided by 4 equals 5 because 5 times 4 equals 20. And 20 divided by 5 equals 4 because 4 times 5 equals 20. So I want you to keep this idea in your head. Multiplication and division are best friends as we finish up fractions. Because as we divide fractions, you're going to see that it's pretty much the same thing as multiplying fractions. Okay. What do you mean, Mrs. Hagan? I still don't understand. Well, let's prove it. All right. So let's go ahead and start with, make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil handy. If you don't have something to write on, please go get it now. Okay, we're going to start with this idea. 14 times 1/2 equals 7. Okay, there's my multiplication problem. Because, oh, that's fancy. $14 divided by 2 equals 7. Okay, let me say that again. 14 times 1/2 equals 7 because 14 divided by 2 equals 7. Okay, those don't look like best friends, Mrs. Hagan, but they are. Let's prove how. Okay, let's start with the first number. 14 times 1/2 equals 7. How does that work? Well, let's prove it. Now, remember, anytime I have a whole number, how do I change it into a fraction? I put it over the number 1. Now I'm back with my multiplication symbol, and I was multiplying it times 1/2. Now, if you've been joining our Zoom conversations or you've been watching the YouTube videos, you know that to solve a fraction times a fraction, all you do is multiply straight across. So the top is 14 times 1, and the bottom is 1 times 2. OMG, if this person does not stop texting me, then I'm going to have to mute them. Okay, you go ahead and solve that now. What does that leave us with? That's right, 14 over 2. Can you tell your friends to stop calling things? Okay, so where were we? 14 halves. Is that the final answer? No, it's an improper fraction. So let's change it. 2 goes into 14 7 times. Ooh, so my final answer to 14 times 1/2 is 7. Now, if I'm going too fast or this is new to you, please pause the video or rewind and slow it down. Take it step by step. Okay, so we just proved that 14 times 1/2 equals 7. Let's put that up here in the corner. Okay, and we said the reason why that works is because its best friend is 14 divided by 2. Okay, so even if I change the number 2 to a fraction, no, excuse me, I have to change the number 2 to a fraction when I'm dividing. So I put my whole number 2 over the number 1. Then when I'm dividing, I can switch my numerator and my denominator. So my denominator becomes my numerator. My numerator becomes my denominator. So that leaves me with 14 divided by 1/2. But when I do that little trick, when I do this trick right here, where I switch my numerator and my denominator, that allows me to also change my division sign to a multiplication sign. Okay, see how it's working? Let's put the 14 over the number 1 and multiply. The top numerator is 14 times 1, and the bottom denominator is 1 times 2. 14 times 1 is 14, 1 times 2 is 2, and that equals 7. Excellent. So we just proved that 14 times 1/2 equals 7 because 14 divided by 2 also equals 7. Now, do you think that we can prove this with a visual model? Oh gosh, there she goes again with these visual models. We can though, it's possible. Whenever we create a visual model in fractions, what do we use? I don't have any around me. Candy bars. I wish I had a candy bar right now. That sounds pretty good, don't you think, best friend? Yeah, we want a candy bar. Well, instead of eating one, let's draw one. So we're going to prove that 14 times 1/2 does indeed equal 7. And we will use the color brown because that is the color of a candy bar. So I'm back to this equation. And we're trying to prove that with the visual model because we know that this is the same thing. This is the best friend with 14 divided by 2 or 2 over 1. So let's prove. Let me move this guy up. Oh, I can't do that. Nope. There we go. Let's prove how they're best friends with a visual model. So I'm going to draw 1/2. And how many times am I going to draw 1/2? 14 times. Let's try that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh, I got to go down a row. 11, 12, 13, 14, 1/2. Are all my candy bars supposed to be the same size? Yes. Did they all turn out the same size? No. But just pretend that they're all the same candy bar. So each of these candy bars is made of 2 1/2s. This is a 1/2, this is a 1/2, this is 1/2, etc. So after I have drawn all of these, how many 1/2 pieces of candy bar do I have? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's true. So I now have 14 1/2 pieces of candy bar. Okay, so how do I get my answer out of this visual model? We count all of the pieces. We count the holes. So let's see how many candy bars we have all together. Now remember, I have 14 1/2 pieces of candy bar. Here's a half, 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 and so on. How many 1/2 pieces of candy bar do I have? That's right, I have 14 1/2 pieces of candy bar. So how do I find my answer? I'm going to count all my candy bars. So let's get green and let's count our whole candy bars. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, we just proved that 14 times 1/2 does indeed equal 7. Does that work for you? Yeah, that works for her because she's the multiplication problem. Does that work for me, the division problem? Well, let's see. If I have 14 pieces, and I divide them in half or divide them by 2, how many pieces would I have? 14 divided by 2. Let's see. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I want to divide those 14 pieces in half. So let's see. How about I take these candy bars, and then I take these candy bars. Okay, let's see how many halves I have in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. And let's check this half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oop, there he is. 7. Whew, it worked. So that is your first reminder / lesson of how to multiply fractions and why multiplication and division are best friends. They always work. They always balance each other. Okay, so the next video is probably going to be just as silly, just as confusing, but if you watch it a couple times, maybe try to explain the idea to someone in your house that's willing to listen to you. It could even be a plastic toy that you explain it to. Then you will learn it better if you explain it to someone else. You can even try this activity with real chocolate bars. If you have, how many chocolate bars do you need to do this activity? Yes, 7 whole chocolate bars. Okay, good luck. Please class dojo me, email me, Teams me, Zoom me, text me, anything you need to do to get a hold of me if you have questions. Okay, I will see you guys soon. Oh, I almost forgot. Take my notes from today. Try and make a basket. Kobe. Ay, ay, ay.